there, sports fans. This is Play It Right TV, and I'm Quinito Henson.
And I'm Dyan Castillejo. Here we give you the very best of Philippine sports. Happy Father's Day to all. And we have a very special episode for all of you featuring one of our favorite father and son tandems in basketball.
Well, this is super special, Dyan, because as you said, this is our Father's Day special. This is airing, of course, on Friday night, but Father's Day will be on Sunday. But we've got this father and son combination that will talk to us about how special Father's Day is to both of them. And let's give you some backgrounders on our special guests. First, he is an 11-time PBA champion coach. He is a 3-time PBA champion as a player. He has won 5 championships in the UAAP men's basketball division. Certainly one of the best imports ever to play in the PBA. And you know who he is? It's the Meralco coach, Norman Black, with his son, Aaron Black. Here they are right now.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
And good to see you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, these guys are off to a flying start, Dyan, in the Philippine Cup PBA season that just started. We've had only 16 games so far. Meralco is undefeated, 2-0. They have another game tomorrow. They had a game last night. I mean, the PBA is working you guys hard, but it's off to a flying start, and it's so nice to see both of you smiling, shining, anticipating a big Father's Day on Sunday. Dyan?
Norman, I mean, your son just keeps improving. He's getting better and better. He won Rookie of the Year, and his stats are just getting higher and higher. You obviously work him really hard. But I wanted to throw the first question to you. I'm very curious as to how you deal with your son, how you treat your son. After a big game like he did against Converge, what do you say to him afterwards? Let's say in the car, going home, as compared to, let's say, a not so good game. And how does the dynamics of your father-son being coach-player work in the house?
Well, we have a close relationship off the court, so that helps a lot. If he does play well like he did last night, the first thing I'll tell him is to stay humble. That's the most important thing, because you're only as good as your last game. So even if you did it last night, you're going to have to repeat that again tomorrow against Open Tech. So stay humble. And the one good thing about Aaron is he has very good work habits. I don't really have to tell him to go out and work. He does it on his own. He's very responsible when it comes to that. So, you know, normally guys who have very good work habits will continue to improve in their game.
Nice. And at home, do you continue to discuss the game or no more?
Oh, very much so. Even this morning, before we came on air with you guys, we discussed the game last night. We discussed it last night when he got home from the game. You know, the one thing I always emphasize to Aaron is it's not just good to have talent. It's not just good to be a good player. You also have to be a smart player, particularly in his case, because remember, he didn't really play the point guard position in college. So he's kind of learning how to play the point guard position on the fly here in the PBA. So he really has to know how to take care of his teammates and at the same time keep a balance as far as when he can produce for the team also.
Now, Aaron, I need to ask you, what are your practices when you go to a basketball game? I mean, a regular PBA game. Do you and your dad ride the same car going to the Coliseum? Do you go home together? Do you go separately? What are your practices?
Well, we actually go separately now because I like to be early to the games, especially when it's in Antipolo, because it's sort of a far drive. But yeah, we go separately. But when we do get home, just like he said, we discuss the game. Sometimes we watch the game together, a little bit of the game together, and we look for things to improve on for the upcoming games.
Okay, before we ask you more about your personal relations, I need to ask Coach Norman. Last season, Meralco ranked #3 in terms of win-loss percentages and very good performance. You guys were #3 in the Philippine Cup, #2 in the Governor's Cup. Certainly one of the most successful seasons ever for the Meralco franchise, but still looking for its first championship. Norman, your last championship came in 2013, but you're a Grand Slam coach. You've had 11 championships in the PBA as a coach. What are your expectations for Meralco this season?
At this point,
Yeah.
if you talk to the management, there's only one expectation, and that's to win the championship.
Okay.
Coming in second place is getting old already. So that's really our goal, to try to end up the champions of this conference, or at least get a championship this year. Obviously, the next 2 championships will depend on the success that we have with our imports. But, you know, everything has to fall in place for us to win the All-Filipino. I mean, we're not naive. We know that there are teams that are quite strong out there, like San Miguel and Talking Tex and Nebra, Magnolia. But at the same time, you never know when you can get the right breaks and you can get the right matchups to give yourself a chance to get to the championship, so you have a chance of winning it. So at this point, Quinito, what we talk about is the fact that we don't want San Miguel and Ginebra, who have really got off to a good start. We don't want teams like that to get ahead of us. We don't want them to, you know, spurt off and get to twice the beat immediately. So we want to stay competitive. We want to win games so that when we do play them this conference, we have a chance of either catching them or overtaking them. Okay,
Dan?
So, Aaron, you know, with that kind of expectation, of course, your dad's a champion. You know, I mean, I know he's the expectations are super high also from management. How does that sit with you? How do you get yourself going? And do you go back and forth with your dad, discuss with him, like maybe give him some ideas, or it's always his way going to you?
Well, it definitely makes me want to work harder. I think that's our main goal as a team, is to win that championship. We actually share our ideas a lot. You know,
nice.
I understand also that he's managing all these players. I think we're 15 guys on the team. So when I do see something that I could suggest that would be good for the team, I do tell him. At the same time, you know, of course, he tells me when I do have to improve on things for the team. So yeah, the main goal is really that championship, and just that thought of being in the finals last year and not making it because it was my first time makes me want to work harder.
Oh, Aaron, what about hanging out with your dad on your off hours? Do you go to the movies with your dad? Do you go to eat out with your dad and your mom? How do you relate with your dad when you're not on the basketball court? Is he a fun guy to hang out with?
Actually, contrary to what people think, because he's always mad, he always looks mad. He's actually really funny. I'm sure you can ask some of my teammates when we're at practice. He likes to joke around a lot. But Sundays, we definitely spend time together, especially with my mom. We eat out together. We go to the mall. Aside from that, we'll watch the games together. If other teams are playing, we'll watch some of the PBA or NBA games. We used to play PlayStation together, but I think he's getting too old for that. I'm sorry.
I kept losing.
So
no fun.
What are some of the things that you think you've acquired from your dad? Like and not just acquired, like, you know, like being his son, but also some habits, and what are some of the most valuable things that you've learned from him?
I think the work habits will be number one. Actually, to be honest, when I was a younger kid, I was a little bit lazy, and he used to always stress to me that I needed to work hard or work harder than everybody else, because that's what he did. And I really understood that as I got older. And, you know, I think looking at his game and looking at how, you know, he is such a legend here in the PBA, I really want to continue to work hard and continue to follow that.
Coach Norman, have you ever played one-on-one against Aaron? And do you ever get involved in a free throw shooting contest with him? And who wins?
Oh, I can't win the free throw shooting contest.
Okay. That came from you. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming from me. I can win the rebound battle, though, every single time. No, Aaron and I used to play one-on-one before. I don't play him now because I'm not in any type of condition to be playing any professional player one-on-one. But we used to play, when he was younger, we used to play one-on-one. And now it's to the point where he's in a different level, a different league as far as actual playing basketball is concerned. I don't really play anymore. I exercise all the time, but I try to stay away from things that might, you know, break my ankles or destroy my knees. So, yeah, but I'm sure he would like to play me one-on-one.
Sure.
And if we did, if we did play Quinito, it all had to be right in the lane, right in front of the basket.
Well, you know, Aaron's enjoying a wonderful season, especially at the start of this Philippine Cup. He's averaging 22 points a game, and last night 25 points that tied his career high. And Coach Norman, did you influence Aaron to take basketball seriously when he was a kid?
I think Aaron grew up around it because I was a player, then I was a basketball coach. His stepbrother Chris was also a player, so he actually grew up around basketball, and he started at a very young age. People don't realize it, but Aaron actually, along with the Nieto brothers and 30 Ravenna and Jolo Mendoza, these guys won. They won what, grade school championships when they were at Ateneo. I think they won 2 straight grade school championships, and I mean, when I say grade school championships, I mean for the entire country. They were the country champions 2 years in a row when he was in grade school. So he really started playing young, and he got real serious about it when I transferred to Ateneo to coach, because Ateneo has a very good program there. They have a lot of coaches and a lot of leagues that they joined. So that's when he really became very serious about it.
Dyan?
And did you ever think that you would be coaching him in the same team in the PBA and him playing so well?
No, never thought I would be coaching Aaron. And I have to tell you, it's really a gift, a blessing to be able to coach him. I don't think very many fathers get to coach their sons, not at the professional level. And sometimes it's a little bit of a curse, because some people think that, you know, because we're father and son, that's one of the reasons why he's doing well. And my message to them would be, once you get on that basketball court in the PBA, either you got it or you don't. I mean, you'll be exposed really, really quickly if you can't play. And so far, Aaron's been stepping up, and he's been able to show everybody that he belongs in the PBA, whether he's my or not.
For sure, you can only help him so much. Once you get on the court, it's all him. So good job, Aaron.
Thank you.
You know, going back to that, please go ahead.
Improve on. Well, a lot of things actually. I think I'm very far from being the player that I want to be. I feel like if you don't stop improving, that's when you really let your guard down, and people start to expose your weaknesses. So I really just want to continue to improve my shooting, my defense. Just like he said, I'm learning the point guard. It's my 3rd year now playing point guard, so I'm learning that on the fly still. And I want to keep learning, especially from the veterans in the league that I look up to. I get stuff from them that they do, so I can put it in my game.
Coach Norman, when Aaron was drafted, he went in the 2nd round. He was the 18th overall pick. Meralco had the chance to pick him. He was actually Meralco's first draft pick that year because he didn't have a first-round pick. Did you think that the other teams were just waiting for you to choose Aaron, and none of the other teams were going to choose him out of respect for you?
Well, the Rain and Shine team had talked to me, and they said they were going to choose him on the 1st round, which they did not. And then when the 2nd round came around, their pick was right before ours, and they did not get him in the 2nd round either. So my feeling was, if he was available, I was going to take him, because people don't remember a lot about this, but Aaron did not participate in the draft camp that year because he broke his hand playing basketball right before the draft camp started. And I thought that hurt his stock a little bit, that he did not join that camp, because he would have been up against the other guys coming out in the draft. And right before that camp was the D-League, where he averaged a triple-double a game. So I was already convinced that he could play in the PBA. And I was just so happy when he was available, and I was certainly happy to call his name.
And Aaron, just going over your basketball history, you played 4 years at Ateneo on the men's level. You were under Coach Bo Parasol, and then 3 years under Coach Tab. You won 2 championships. Then you renounced your last year of eligibility. You went on to play in the MPBL. What was happening, the thought process that you were having in foregoing that last year at Ateneo, going to the MPBL, and then proceeding to the PBA?
I think after my 4th year in Ateneo, talking to the family and everything, especially because I was graduating college already, we thought it was best for me to try to turn semi-pro and go to the MPBL. Actually, I went to the States and trained first for a month at Impact over there. That helped me a lot, confidence-wise and skill-wise. And then the MPBL was a big help. I think, with Quezon City and Zamboanga, they really helped me a lot. I was able to play point guard and get comfortable with that, as well as when I got to the D League after the MPBL, I was able to do that even more.
Dyan?
Nice. Now, I wanted to ask Coach Norman, since it's Father's Day, it is a Father's Day show, and it's a little bit of somewhat like a tribute to you. Tell us how your background, again, just to refresh everyone's memories. You did so well in the PBA. When did you actually, of course, your wife is Filipina, we know her. When did you actually decide that you were going to make the Philippines your home?
When Mr. Danding Kawako offered me a job at San Miguel as a sports director. They gave me an opportunity to have a job here, a regular job here in the Philippines, and at the same time continue to play basketball. That happened in 1985. In December 1985, about 7 a.m. in the morning, he called me to his office. I remember it like it was yesterday. But he was the one that really gave me an opportunity to stay and work here in the Philippines. And of course, I was married to a Filipina, my wife, Carmen. So that gave me the opportunity to live here in the Philippines because I was a permanent resident. So that was the reason why. Actually, I really wanted to also continue to play basketball if given the opportunity somewhere else. But I was lucky and fortunate enough to have a job here every year that I was playing basketball here and I was able to have a job. So those are the main reasons why I wanted to stay in the Philippines.
Nice. And it's been amazing, right?
It's been an amazing run. It's I always joke, Quinito and Andy Howe, that we're the lone man standing right now. They were here before me in the PBA. They were I think from the beginning. I came in 81. So, we're pretty much the 3 guys who are still left from the group back in the early 80s, along with Willie Marshall, who came before, I guess, as part of the TV telecast. And we've been around for a long time, Quinito.
Yeah, we have. Well, Dyan asked you about your history in the Philippines. I wanted to ask you, Coach Norman, if you can just share with us your most memorable moments. First, as a Hall of Famer at St. Joseph's, your Division I school. Mm-hmm. Next, your stint in the CBA. And I remember looking at the stat sheet and you had a 54-point game. Next, your experience with the Detroit Pistons. And finally, your experience in the PBA, both as a player and a coach. A lot of questions to answer.
You might have to ask those individually again.
Okay.
So starting off with St. Joe's, I guess my most memorable moment, because I had a pretty successful career in college. I scored a lot of points, grabbed a lot of rebounds. But my most memorable moments is I had a teammate by the name of Zane Major. And in our last game of our college career, we played against Ohio State at Ohio State in the NIT. And I needed just 2 points to tie the all-time scoring record for basketball players at St. Joe's. But Zane needed just 1 point to score 1,000 points in his career. Now, my point total at that point was like 1,700 something, I believe. Okay, so I was far away from 1,000. 1,000 points in a college career in the United States is a big deal. Any college you're in, if you score 1,000 points, you normally go into that school's Hall of Fame as being one of their better players ever. So Coach Jimmy Lynam, who was our coach at that time, who ended up coaching in the pros for quite a long time, he asked us, he like sat down in front of the 2 of us and said, who do I call the last play for? Now, I have a chance to break the title record. He has a chance to get 1,000 points. And I started thinking to myself, and this is why our friendship probably carried on forever, Zane and I, until he passed a couple of years ago. I said to myself, I've always heard that records are made to be broken. So even if I get this record, somebody's going to come along and break it in a few years anyway. Why not get Zane those 1,000 points? Because that's going to be forever. And ran the play for Zane Major. He scored the basket. He got his 1,000 points. And every time somebody passes over 1,000 points in St. Joe's today, they always mention Zane's name because that person is a major. So that's something that just stays in my mind. We
Incredible.
Zane actually traveled to the Philippines and visited me here. So yeah, I mean, I know I probably had moments where I scored a lot of points and grabbed a lot of rebounds, but that's what really stands out the most in my mind. What was the second one?
Oh, the second one is about the CBA when you had the Continental Basketball Association when you scored like 54 points in one game. But by the way, did you end up being the all-time leading scorer at St. Joe's?
I ended up 2 points short.
Oh, 2 points short. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mike Bantam, who works for the NBA up to now, was held that record. But that record has been broken 4 or 5 times since then. Okay. So it didn't stand anyway. it was knocked down.
Okay, tell us about the Lancaster Red Roses in the Continental Basketball Association.
Well, the best thing about being there at Lancaster was we won the championship. And it was interesting because the year before, I probably was a more productive player. I think I averaged like 27 points a game in the league. But the following year when I played for Lancaster, we actually had such a great team, Quinito. I mean, I can't name all the players on the team at this time, but we had like 7 guys averaging in double figures. My average went down to like 21 points per game, but it was one of the most enjoyable times I've ever had as a teammate because we were so unselfish. And we went on to win the championship without me. And the reason why they went on to win without me is because I went through the entire season, but like 2 weeks before the championship series, I had to return back to the Philippines to play here. And I didn't have a choice. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to come back. But they went on to win the championship anyway without me. And, of course, I still felt I was part of that team because I was there for the majority of the year. And I had all the experiences with them throughout the year.
What about the Pistons?
I don't have too many memorable moments with the Pistons. I didn't really spend much time with them. Of course, maybe my most memorable moment was dunking on Rich Kelly.
Okay.
For the Phoenix Suns. He was a 7'4" center for the Phoenix Suns. And one of my second game in the NBA was against Phoenix. And I was able to go down the middle of the lane and dunk right on his head. I felt really good about that one. I didn't really play much when I was there. I probably had a more memorable stint in the Summer League with the Detroit Pistons in the LA Summer League. But other than that dunk shot, I don't really remember too much from that. It wasn't very memorable. I didn't really get much playing time. Okay, then in the PBA as a coach and a player. Well, probably the most memorable thing is winning the Grand Slam. I mean, that's something that, it's so hard to do that. And it wasn't just winning the Grand Slam. I think we won 2 out of 3 the year before that too. So we won a lot of championships in a short period of time. And it was very interesting, that group, because Mon Fernandez, who was a little bit of a nemesis of mine, and we battled tooth and nail for how many years. He was traded to the San Miguel team from Pure Foods. And all of a sudden he came into the team and it was like, wow, we just went to another level. We were able to really, really do well. And that's not to say we didn't do well with Abby Kudabin, because we won a couple championships with him. But when Mon came into the team, we really took off. But I would say my best memorable moment with San Miguel and as a player would probably be against David Thurkill. You probably remember that, Quinito.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the sheriff.
We were down 3-2 in the championship series. We came back and beat them 4-3. And it was one of those things where I struggled against him until that championship series. And for some reason, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I just broke out and I started averaging 40, 44 points a game again in the championship series. And the last couple of games, I was pretty dominant. And that was a great moment for me because, David Thurkill's nickname was the Sheriff. Mm-hmm. And he was known for locking people up. In other words, shutting them down, right? Because of his defensive abilities. So it was nice to play well against him. And, of course, I had a great team, led by Ricardo Brown and Hector Calmer, Samboy Lim, Mon Fernandez, and names go on and on. We were a very talented team at that time.
Dyan?
So, Aaron, hearing all that your dad has accomplished, wow, what do you on Father's Day, or what wish would you have for your dad, or what do you
Treat me
still
to
wish
lunch.
for him to achieve? Huh?
Treat you to lunch.
Yeah, treat me to lunch.
What's that?
Aside from treating him to good food on Sunday, uh,
Oh,
winning a championship together would be great. I think I don't think not a lot of father and sons are able to say that at a
yeah.
professional level, and that would be really great for not just us but for the whole Meralco franchise.
Nice. And are you getting him anything for Father's Day? Is he a gifts type of a dad, likes getting gifts, or no, just like ano
I
lang,
usually get him
words lang,
shoes. I usually get him shoes. I might get him shoes again
shoes.
this Sunday, but we'll see. I'll figure something out these next 2 days.
That's nice.
Aaron, okay, now that you've become a leader on your team, who would you say among your teammates is the most inspiring for you?
Well, I think that's pretty easy. Papa Ray Hugnatan. He's the oldest guy on our team. He's 43 years old, and seeing him every day be the first guy in the gym, that inspires you to work harder. Seeing the way he eats, even in the bubble, the way he sleeps, he's out by 9 p.m. He's up by 6 a.m. and he really has a routine that's kept him in the league for so long. I think 21 years now, and that's something that I would love to do. I'd love to play basketball till I'm 43, and at a high level too. He had another good game yesterday, and he continues to shock everybody, but except for us, because we see it in practice.
Nice.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Coach Norman, one of the things that I admire about you most is that you continue your fitness level. You're an inspiration to all players, both current, past. I remember I've been to your house, I know, a couple of times and featured your workouts. But what do you do these days to stay in shape?
Well, I'm trying to get back in shape right now. I went home for 17 days and I picked up a few pounds, so I'm trying to get those pounds off as quickly as
That's
possible.
okay. You deserve it. We'll let you have a few pounds after all these years.
Actually, I was just scared to go to the gyms there. I mean, I'm really paranoid about getting sick right now because we're right in the middle of the season. You don't want to be out for 2 weeks because of it. So I was just very hesitant to go. They have gyms in the States where you can actually go work out, but I was just hesitant to get in there. And I ended up going about 17 days without doing any type of cardio. So I'm trying to get myself back in order. It's been 2 weeks now, and I've been going every day at it. But
so you go to the gym. Yeah, you go to the gym. You do weights. Do you do any cardio?
Here in the house, I do everything. We have a gym here in the house.
Okay, yeah.
We have everything in the gym. So in other words, the treadmill, the cross trainer, the stationary bike, weights. We have everything here. So I get to work out every day. Normally it's at this time, 9 a.m.
Oh, sorry. All right, we'll end this so you can go get to your workout.
Yeah. We're about to end the show. I just wanted to ask you, Coach Norman, you did go back to the U.S. For 17 days right after the previous season ended. How was your mom, Bessie?
That's a good question. My mom was perfect when I was there. She was up and about, and we were all over the place. I mean, she's got all these ladies groups, different sorority, church, birthday club, and I visited all of them while I was home. In other words, but when I left, she had a little bit of a problem. She came down and she got sick, and right now she's doing well. I just talked to her this morning. But at the same time, I'm a little bit worried, a little bit concerned, and I'm hoping that she gets well very quickly.
Well, hoping that happens too. But before we let both Coach Norman and Aaron go, Coach, I just needed to ask you also about your experience as a playing coach. Now, that must have been a huge responsibility on your shoulders. When to get yourself to check in, when to do more coaching than playing. How did that thought process go in your mind, being a playing coach?
You mean I should have substituted myself out?
Yeah.
Actually, Quinito, I averaged 48 minutes a game when I was a player coach. So
wow. Okay. You were doing more playing than coaching.
I was pretty biased when it came to playing and not taking myself off the court. I was pretty lucky. I had Derek Pumarin with me, along with Pilo Pumarin.
Yes.
I had the nucleus of the NCC team. So it wasn't like they didn't know each other. And it was just a matter of blending in guys like Alvin Ting and Jeffrey Graves and some of Ricky Quee and some of the other guys we brought in, Ricardo Brown. But I had a basic team that I pretty much inherited from Ron Jacobs. I think you know that. And these guys were good. I mean, they were the national team. And then, of course, I was still in my prime as a player. So we had a lot of success because of that. And we were able to recruit good imports, Michael Phelps and Enos Watley and Bobby Parks. I mean, these guys came in and reinforced the team when I could not play because of the height limitations. And they really helped us win games. So the combination of having a great local crew and also having good imports, and of course myself included in playing with the team, it led to success actually for us. And that stint that I think was like maybe a 9 championship run that we had, that was probably one of the greatest parts of my career here in the Philippines.
And my last question for Aaron, Aaron, how does it feel now that you're in the PBA playing against your former collegiate teammates? Tyler Teo, you went up against him just the other night, and then Anton Asisio. How does it feel when you see these guys now on opposite teams?
I think it's a lot of fun playing against them. Of course, it's not easy to get to the PBA, so I know we all went, we had to work hard to get here. So proud of them as well. Guys like Tyler, I sat next to him in practice almost every day when we were in college. So playing against him the other day was nice. As well as Anton Asistro, the Nieto brothers, those guys. We were very close, and we've been together since grade school. So it's really a dream come true for us to be in this league, because that's really what we, since grade school, we were looking forward to.
Dyan, I'm sure Aaron's sister, Dominique. Did you want to ask a question about his sister? And we also know that she's a lawyer and she lives in London. Dyan?
Yeah, how is she? Does she ever get to come back? Do you visit her there, or is she totally on her own now there?
She's good. She's really good. She's actually a competition lawyer over there. And last time she came home was right before the pandemic. I think that was March. We shut down. She came home in February. We were able to go to Boracay together. But
nice.
I think she's coming home this December. So we'll be together for Christmas. We're really looking forward to that. We haven't seen her in a while. And yeah, she's doing great. We're really proud of her over there.
Nice. Well, I wanted to tell you, Aaron, that my mom is a good friend of your dad and your mom. She used to do curtains. She did the curtains of your house many years ago, and she was just telling me yesterday, as I was telling her I was going to interview you both, she said she's a big, super fan of Meralco, watches every game. And she said, Dyan, I remember Aaron was just a little boy when I used to go to their house. So tell him I said hello, and she's super proud of you, one of your biggest fans, Mrs. Castillejo. And of course, you, Norman. My mom loves you forever.
Hello, please.
Same here. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks very much. And super special also because this is a Father's Day special. And, everybody knows how important it is that we celebrate Father's Day and give reverence and honor our fathers. But Aaron and Coach Norman, the way you blend together now that you're working as a combination in the PBA, I mean, it's just a blessing and it's a wonder. And we're very big fans of the Black family. Dyan?
Yes.
Thank you.
So just so happy that you're seeing now the fruit of your hard labor. So it's nice. I love it when families succeed together. So more power and God bless. Thanks for being on Play It Right. We hope we can have you again.
Thanks,
maybe after you win a championship.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right, thanks, guys. Happy Father's Day again.
Thank you.
Well, Dyan, another wonderful episode. Play It Right TV always has a lot of these surprises for our viewers. And And if you, of course, to our viewers, if you like this episode, please don't forget, like and subscribe to our Play It Right TV channel. We want to also make you hit that bell button so you get all the information about new videos and new ways of hooking up with us.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode as we had so much fun talking to Norman and Aaron Black. And we also would like to invite you to go to the page of our sister company, playitright.com. They are the ones who are supporting this show and they make it happen. So we hope that you can support them. Check out their superior products, sports products, fitness products, super good prices. For sure, you're going to be able to find something for you or for the family. So again, please check them out. That's playitright.com.
And since it's Father's Day on Sunday, maybe you can check out playitright.com and find out if there's something that you can get for your fathers on Father's Day. And with that,
all right,
this is Quinito Henson. Thank you very much for joining us on Play It Right TV.
I'm Dyan Castillejo. See you next time. God bless.